Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, and in this video you've tuned in to day 2 of our Cheltenham Festival predictions for tomorrow's horse race in action. Now just a few things before we get stuck into those tips for tomorrow. First of all, if you haven't seen it, they're going to be having an inspection tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. They're expecting possibly some high winds, even though when I was looking at the weather forecast, actually in the morning it shouldn't be too bad. It's actually in the middle of the day for a couple of hours, maybe around about 11 to 1 o'clock that those high winds should be at their maximum, and then actually in the afternoon it was meant to be quite calm. So quite odd that they're calling an inspection at 8 AM where it should probably be not too bad then, and actually when racing was meant to start anyway from 1:30 onward, it shouldn't be possibly too bad. So they're holding it really at a bizarre time, and if it does unfortunately get cancelled tomorrow, they're going to move it on to Saturday. I hope that they don't move it to Saturday. I want them to be running tomorrow because it just makes the week a lot more exciting, and I don't know what to do tomorrow if they cancel it. So yeah, hopefully they don't. Also as well, I just want to talk about on how we did today and a couple of other issues that I've seen going on from the Cheltenham Festival on day 1. Now with us today, we did not great in the end, but however Roxana came up trumps and she dug us out of a great big hole. We backed her 10 to 1 each way, and I got paid out really well. I tipped her last night as a good each way bet, so if you backed her each way you would have taken the winnings there. She covered all our bets today, or she did for me anyway, and just saved me to be up on the day by a few quid. So I've got my money back for tomorrow and we'll be going in again, and hopefully we can have some more success. Away from that, pretty much every selection we put up had either hard luck story or just didn't run their race. Angel's Breath I thought was very unlucky. I thought in the mid-race anyway when he got slightly hampered against the rail, but I don't think that would have really made too much of a difference. I think he might have just got closer to some of the protagonists, but in the end he was a bit too far back to do anything, and it was quite disappointing in the end. But I'm not sure about that Supreme race. I think it was a very odd race, and it would be interesting to see how it develops over time. I thought the Arkle, some of the leading protagonists didn't really get a fair crack at the race. Glenforsa fell too early, so we don't know how he would have done maybe towards the end of the race. I still think he would have had a live chance, and I wouldn't write his chances off just yet at this level. Also as well, Kalashnikov was going quite well, was very unfortunate to be brought down by Ornua, and also as well Laylor was disappointing, but I don't think he had his ground, and I won't give up on him yet as well. So that was quite a frustrating race, the Arkle. Some of the leading fancies didn't get to shine, and then of course the big race which was meant to be the race of the century, the champion hurdle with Lorena, Apples, Jade and Bouvardere, didn't really happen. None of them even made the first 3. Espoir de Laine, Melon and Silver Streak, who were 16, 20 to 1 and 80 to 1, made the frame, and that would have been some hell of a tricast if you did that. But yeah, that was a crazy result. Our fancy Bouvardere unfortunately fell midway in the race, and I think he probably would have won if he'd managed a clear round of jumping. He was given a golden opportunity to win 3 champion hurdles, but he'll have to take his chance again next year if he's going to win another champion hurdle. So yeah, that was a bit frustrating there. Also as well, I thought Impulsive Star was a little bit unlucky. He was being niggled along a couple of times in the race, but he was responding fairly well. But the thing that really dampened his chances was the couple of interferences he got. He was badly hampered at least twice in the race from fallers in front of him when he was going okay, and I just think in the end hardly any of them finished off. You can forgive him that run for future outings. And then also as well, I thought another horse that was a little bit slightly unlucky for us, but did run their heart on their sleeve, was Highway 101. I just think in the end the ground went against him. If it was maybe a bit better ground, he might have had a chance today, but yeah, we can forgive him, and I think he'll be back to somewhere near his best next time out for Chris Gordon. But the other thing I want to talk about, last thing, sorry for waffling on, but something that I feel that a lot of people have criticised him wrongly, and a lot of those people that are doing that aren't really knowledgeable about racing at all, and that is the criticism of Ruby Welsh. Now, I will admit it did have a bit of a freakish coincidence to the Annie Power result back a few years ago now in this race, when she fell at the last. Exactly the same thing happened. Obviously it was good for us because we won with Roxana, but you could tell immediately that Richie, Willie Mullins, they were very upset that this horse fell at the last, and I don't think they're going to blame Ruby at all. The horse, I think, a theory of mine is probably that it got to the front too early. If you remember when this horse won this race last year, it had a battle with Midnight Tour up the hill, and I think that's what really helped this horse. And I think maybe if there had been another runner eye to eye with her, she might have dug in more for that battle, and she probably could have jumped the last a lot better. So I think you can't blame the horse necessarily, just made a mistake. Things like that happen racing all the time. It's not Ruby Walsh's fault. The horse made a mistake, not the jockey. I had a 28-1 shot at the weekend that I was absolutely gutted that fell at the last when it was sure to win. And think about how I felt. If you back that horse at odds on, well, you shouldn't be backing a horse like that, in my opinion. Only possibly maybe in a multiple bet. But if you're backing that singly and you're complaining about that, you've got to really grow a pair, in my opinion. But that's just my rant. I just wanted to get off my chest. I'm fed up with these people that criticise jockeys and trainers and horses for genuine mistakes that happen in racing. It's the sport of horse racing. If you don't like it, go and find another sport to complain about, or do something else with your life. I haven't got time for people like that, and that's just something I wanted to get off my chest before I went into my day 2 predictions. So without further ado, we'll get straight into the business end of things for tomorrow. And the first race tomorrow comes in the Ballymore, which has been a good race for me in recent years. I had the winner in 2017 with Willoughby Court at 16-1, so I was really pleased I won that day. But my selection tomorrow is going to be Battleoverdoyen, who has pretty much been in my heart ever since he won his maiden hurdle, first time out for Gordon Elliott. Jack Kennedy's booked for the ride tomorrow. Now this horse won a Grade 1 on its last start, and even though it's very lightly raced, I think it could definitely be the classiest animal in the race and definitely the most progressive. It wouldn't be a concern tomorrow on the soft ground. It's got plenty of soft ground relatives in its pedigree, and I think that would definitely suit it tomorrow. It's a game battler, and I think with the connections winning this race last year with Sam Crow, they know what to do to win this race. Gordon Elliott hasn't had a winner yet at the festival, didn't have a winner on day 1, but I think he'll be fired up and he'll be wanting winners tomorrow, and I think this one could definitely get him a winner on the board. So for me, I like to be taking on Champ. I think he's too keen. Battleoverdoyen is the one you want to probably be on tomorrow, and I thought 4-1, that was a fair price, and I think he'll go a favourite tomorrow. I can definitely see Champ drifting out. The next race then comes in the RSA, and I'm going for another Gordon Elliott runner here as part of the Jigginstown group, and I'm going for Delta Work. I know he's favourite, but I fancied him for this for quite a while now. He's 9-4 bookmakers at the moment. Very similar profile to Presenting Percy when he won the Potemps final last year, and Presenting Percy, who also went on to win the Potemps, went to win the RSA last year, so they're following a similar profile there. Davy Russell aboard as well, who's a good experienced jockey. He knows how to do it in the big races. I don't think he hasn't had a winner yet. He didn't have a winner on day 1, so he'll be wanting to get his arse into the winner's enclosure. But I think Delta Work, with that Cheltenham Festival experience before, unbeaten over fences this season, was the only one to beat Laricheberg. I think the soft ground as well will help his claims, and I could definitely see him taking all the beating tomorrow. I know Top Game is an interesting rival, but for me with Top Game, I think he doesn't do it all in a race. He does a lot of the hard work, but then he doesn't do the simple things which show a game winning attitude to win. He always has a couple of quirks in his races, and that's what would just put me off tomorrow. Santini, I'm not too keen on him after the preparation he had, and also as well I don't think his form stacks up too well either. So that's going to be my tip for the RSA. We then go to the Coral Cup, a wide open handicap. To be honest, you could have a couple of fancies in this. I quite like Bria Conte, but the one I've sided with is Ballyandy at 25-1. I think he's cracking each way bet tomorrow. Trained by Nigel Twiston-Davis. Sam Twiston-Davis is booked for the ride. Now this horse, last time we saw it, finished 3rd at Ascot, actually behind Bria Conte, who was a bit of a surprise winner that day, but nonetheless, Ballyandy's done well since he's gone back over hurdles. 2 starts ago, he won at Uttoxeter over the trip. on soft conditions, so no qualms there about the ground tomorrow. Also as well, he does like Cheltenham. He won the champion bumper back in 2016 it was, and then in 2017 he finished 4th in the Supreme Hurdle. He knows how to run around Cheltenham very well. I think he off a mark tomorrow of 148 with that form at Ascot working out as well. Malaya went on to win the Imperial Cup at the weekend. This horse could definitely have a good each way chance tomorrow, so that's going to be my tip for the race. In the champion chase, it's going to be Altior that wins this race. He's 4-9 with bookmakers at the moment. Obviously trained by champion trainer Nicky Henderson, Nico de Boinville, booked for the ride. This horse has won at every start he's had at the Cheltenham Festival. Won the Supreme in 2016, the Arkle in 2017, and the champion chase last year in what was a remarkable victory after the concerns about him even making it to the starting line. So Altior for me, he's unbeaten over chase fences. I can't remember what winning streak he's on now, something like 19 runs undefeated or something. But for me, Altior tomorrow, if he's anywhere near his best, he's really going to make this look like a cakewalk. Really, the other ones that might get near to him, if there were to be any shocks, could be Min. But apart from that, I don't really see Min beating Altior at all. If I was to have a bet in the race, I'm not going to have a bet in the race, I might back something like Ordinary World, who was running very well in this race last year. He was travelling very well, actually, probably the best horse turning in, and then he clouted the second last, and then his chances went. He's been a little bit better this season, but I don't think some of the Irish form has been that good. But he might have a chance for Henry to Bromhead and Rachel Blackmore to maybe mop up third place or something. But for me, Altior should be winning this. We then go to the cross-country race, and that's actually a race I quite like. I know Tiger Roll, obviously he's a wonderful horse, Grand National winner, previous Cheltenham Festival winners, with him being in the 4-miler, the cross-country, and also as well the Triumph Hurdle. But I'm going to take him on with a horse called Ultragold, who's 12-1 with bookmakers at the moment, trained by Colin Tizard, Harry Cobden booked for the ride. Now, I think it's quite interesting that they're going this route, and a lot of horses that have run well around Aintree do well. Last Samurai actually placed in this race last year after having some good spins around the national course. This horse is a top-end winner twice in a row, won last year in heavy conditions, so no qualms about the ground tomorrow. He's a front runner, and he likes to jump his fences, and these fences are quite similar to the national fences in the layout of the course, so I think he'll love that, and I think he could definitely run into a place tomorrow. And I just think at 12-1, his most recent run deserves him to be a lot shorter, because the form of his Betfred Classic Chase winners worked out quite well. Obviously Impulsive Star didn't do the form any justice today, but before that you had the third Cross Park come out and win for Caroline Bailey in the Isla Chase, and also as well the fourth Carol's Destro went and won a Veterans Chase at Newbury recently, so his latest run has worked out well. Harry Cobden aboard as well, who rode him to Topham success last year's booked for the ride. I think he's got a solid he's got a solid chance, like I said, to make the frame. So that's going to be my tip there. The Fred Winter, now anything could win this, to be honest with you. I like to have a massive punt, or a small punt I should say, on a massive price horse tomorrow. The one I'm going to take a chance on, I've heard a good word for, is a horse called Fox Pro. Now this horse is 40-1 currently bookmakers at the moment, trained by Jane Williams, and Lizzie Kelly's booked for the ride in the colours of T for 2. Now this team have got a good record in this race actually. Back in 2017, Jane's husband Nick won the race with Flying Tiger, and then the year before that they had Coustar Savola, who finished third in the race. French types have a very good record in the race, and this is a French horse, been running over there in the name of Nick Williams last winter, when in December this horse actually won a race on softish ground. And I think maybe just some of those experiences in heavy ground might help it tomorrow. He's bred for a lot further as well, and I think you're going to need to stay tomorrow. Not saying he's going to win, but with 5 places and connections, have a good record in the race, I thought he could be worth a small each way tomorrow. I've had a good word from him from one of my sources that's got connections with those yards. So for me, I thought that wasn't a bad tip there. We then go for the bumper, and I know Envoy Allen is probably definitely a worthy favourite. I thought one horse that could maybe be finishing and running on strongly tomorrow. Has got a very good each way chance. Is a horse called Sempo. He's 12-1 with bookmakers at the moment, trained by Joseph O'Brien. Derek O'Connor, top rider, booked for the ride. Now this horse actually won at Thales last time out by 15 lengths, and really good style. The form hasn't accumulated too much, but if you actually look at that race, he travelled like a very good horse, and he went away from them looking like he could be a champion bumper winner. Now, if you actually look at his earlier starts before that, Listowel and Leopardstown, all his best work was coming at the end. He was staying on really strongly, and going up that hill tomorrow, if he's there or thereabouts within the leaders, I think he could definitely have a chance of running up that hill very strongly, and I think he could be there or thereabouts tomorrow, and it wouldn't be at all surprising to me if maybe he could make whoever's in front of him really work for it, and he could be the one that maybe swoops home late and gets his head in front. I think he's got a very good chance tomorrow, and I think potentially he could be the gamble of the race. Go back and watch that run at Thales if you can, and then you'll see what I'm on about. That was a very impressive victory. I think Sempo tomorrow, he could definitely be a bit of a gamble. So that's going to be my selections for day 2 of tomorrow's Cheltenham Festival. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button for more tips and videos here on my YouTube channel for the rest of the Cheltenham Festival as well. Also as well, if you don't follow me on social media, the place to follow me, my handle is @LuckyLoaders15. You'll see it in the trailer, or the credits I should say, at the end. So that's all I've got to say. So please carry on responsibly. Hopefully we can have another good day tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.